In round one, we cover the bigger stories of the week. So, Paul and Charles.
Ah, yes, this is the shoe journalist, the guy that threw the shoes at President Bush. And there he is, still not getting it. He never will now, will he? And I suppose, are these people protesting in favour of the guy that threw the shoes?
I would imagine so, yes.
Yeah.
That obviously is correct. It is, of course, the incident of the Shoeicide bomber.
Yeah. So we got the footage of the shoes?
Of course we have the footage. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah.
Yes.
شكرا زيرو.
Hang on.
It's a round of applause.
Hang on. Who'd like to see that again in slow motion? Here we go, here we go. Look at that! Oh, that parted his hair.
He's ready for the next one. He must have two.
He's got fantastically good reactions, Bush.
Yeah.
And if he'd seen the recession coming at that sort of speed...
Do you know what the shoe thrower said as he hurled his footwear?
He said, this is from the widows and orphans of Iraq, which kind of made it sound like they'd had a whip round and bought him some shoes.
He said it's a farewell kiss, you dog.
He did.
George Bush probably thought this was, you know, a gesture of celebration or something that had to be explained to him. And then he had that great one line, didn't he? Ha, it was a size 10.
We actually have the footage of him saying just that, in fact.
Oh, do you?
So what if the guy threw a shoe at me? It's like going to a political rally and having people yell at you. It's like driving down the street and have people not gesturing with all 5 fingers. If you want the facts, it's a size 10 shoe that he threw.
It's that mastery of detail that got him to where he is today.
I like his description of his everyday life, which involves walking along, people shouting at him, people hating him, people giving him the finger. It's all normal. Actually, it means he's unpopular, but he hasn't twigged this yet.
Yeah. Did you see how slow the Secret Service were, though?
They weren't even in the room.
They were. They just... The guy could have unloaded Imelda Marcos's wardrobe at him before they did that. He just waved them away, and then that was it. But yeah,
but it is quite encouraging, isn't it? I mean, he didn't throw a bomb at him. He threw a shoe, and that's progress. It is.
If Lee Harvey Oswald had a couple of flip-flops, the world would have been a different place, wouldn't it?
Ed's absolutely right about the Secret Service. I mean, thank God Obama won. But, I mean, the joke going around, wasn't it, was if McCain had won, the Secret Service were under orders, you know. The man's over 70, he's got a heart condition, most stressful job in the world. If anything happened to McCain, they had to immediately shoot Vice President Palin.
According to his brother, after the journalist was taken into custody, he suffered a broken hand, broken ribs and an eye injury.
He slipped, in English.
Well, who's training their police?
Shoes on, he's probably slipped on the floor, hasn't he?
Yes.
It's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
So, anyone see the headline for what, let's be honest, was a serious diplomatic incident in the Sun? See how they're coming out? Bush chuck a trial. But my favourite thing to come out of all this is how do you suppose it was covered on the radio? Well, actually, Iranian radio.
Oh, right.
Ready?
Iranian radio.
A bit like that. Because what the radio announcer in Iran said, please listen again, this is the sound of the shoe missing President Bush. You were Lib Dem leader, as we know.
Yes.
And you voiced...
Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting Charles did it as well.
Yeah, so, after you, yeah. You voiced strong opposition to the war, so you must be feeling a bit silly now it's all gone so well.
Terrible. I mean, I don't want to spoil a programme like this by the seriousness of this issue, but
OK,
no,
don't
terrible.
bother then.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, you also championed rights for old people, and then Ming Campbell nicked your job, which is...
One of you going to start undoing his shoelaces any second.
Yeah, exactly.
This is for the widows of the polar bears.
Yes. All my fault.
I remember George Bush was on his state visit at the height of the Iraq War to Britain. He said, "Now, it's real good to meet you," he said, "because you're the only guys we're meeting on this visit that disagree with our policy." Now, outside Buckingham Palace, there were thousands of people when you landed.
Now, on the subject of protests, there was an eco-protest in the summer, OK? It was back in the news this week. It's the Home Office. They apologised for telling MPs that 70 police officers had been hurt during the protest at Kings North Power Station. It was revealed the injuries hadn't been caused by clashes with protesters. Now, the number of injuries incurred by the 1,500 policemen on duty, OK, and women, was actually 12. Can anyone describe any of those injuries?
Bee stings.
Yes.
Oh, so close.
Wasp stings.
Some of these injuries are quite horrific, OK? One officer was stung on finger by possible wasp.
They're the worst kind. They're neither one thing or the other.
Then we've got another one who was injured sitting in car. I particularly enjoyed this one, OK? It's the worst injury, no question. Used leg to open car door and next day had pain in lower back. Boys in blue.
It's not entirely clear that it was his own leg. Just used leg.
And you've got what's he called? Norman Baker, the old Lib Dem man for Lewis. He says he's witnessed unnecessarily aggressive policing and tactics such as confiscating toilet rolls, board games and clown costumes. Bastards, I mean, just bastards.
Well, clown costumes with those big shoes, they're quite serious weapons in Iraq, you know.
Soft. Would anybody like to see some footage of some politicians just having a punch-up?
Yeah.
It's the Mexican Parliament, this.
Oh. Excellent.
I hope the Speaker of the House of Commons isn't watching this.
I hope he's involved.
Is this their Prime Minister's question time?
It's very hard to tell who's fighting who there.
I think the fight was being conducted by proportional representation.